Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. We are the three Johnny Wrestlings of the internet, and we are talking about backwash or backlash of the WWE card and how terrible it was. Joining me
Spoilers, we didn't like it.
Spoilers, I don't think anyone on the internet liked it. Joining me, as always, is the one and only Mr. John Turbo Finley. How you doing, sir?
Good evening, or morning, depending on when you're watching this.
Or listening. And, as always, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva.
Hello.
As he strokes his face, and I fondle my beard. It was a giant waste of everybody's time. I think everybody's just on wrestling fatigue right now. WrestleMania, the greatest Royal Rumble, and whitewash. Yeah, it was just terrible. General thoughts going into it before we go through the card?
I will generally say that I was not invested in Backlash at all after everything that we had prior to it. And like you said, Pete, yeah, wrestling fatigue. There was just way too much going on in the last month that totally didn't help for this show. But I did find some solace in it, but not enough to justify that this wasn't the best.
Was it when it ended? Was that the solace you found? It was over.
No, it was actually the first match of the main card, mainly, and other bits and bobs. But we'll get into it in detail.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say that adding on to the general tiredness for not only the audience but the performers was the fact they're going straight off of this into the European tour for 2 weeks. They I don't know.
Let the WrestleMania revenge tour begin.
Yeah, it's all very whatever. Backlash in its traditional slot after WrestleMania, but the significance of that completely diluted by the fact that we've had the greatest Royal Rumble. If you have not watched Backlash yet, this is honest to goodness my suggestion to you. If you're going to watch it, reverse the entire card. Watch the last match first. Watch the first match last. And it'll probably be a better pay-per-view for you. But other than that, we'll get on to it.
I do agree with that to a certain point that you could shuffle the card around, but the certain matches don't need to be where they were on the card. But yeah, we'll get on with it. The pre-match of Ruby Riott with the Riott Squad squashing Bayley in this continued prolonging of Bayley versus Sasha in...
The slow burn.
The slow burn. The slow burn plus they work as a unit. You guys can't work together. And you can't win if you don't work together.
It's a slow burn of a storyline that no one seems to be invested in.
I was invested at one point. I really wanted to see this happen. And I would have liked it either way, whether it be a face Bayley going up against a heel Sasha Banks, or or the reverse, a face Sasha going up against a heel Bayley. But no, I'm now just tired of it because they've been prolonging this for way too long, and now it's, it was bumped to a blooming pre-show battle royal. Now it's on another pre-show kind of like storyline, I suppose. And I've lost interest. And that's a shame because I love both Bayley and Sasha Banks, but this is going way too slow for me.
Chapter 106 of the prologue.
It feels like they're trying to get another Owens Jericho out of it. Not understanding completely that neither Banks nor Sasha get enough mic time to pull that off.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it just, I understand from the point that they're also trying to build the Riot Squad, more specifically Ruby Riot, up to a level of prominence on the Raw card now that she's been transferred across with the team as well, and beating a high profiler like Bailey is obviously going to help that. But the story means nothing right now, because all we see during the content of this 10-minute match is Corey Graves doing what Corey Graves does, saying she's right not to trust Sasha. Sasha will stab her in the back, and then we see cuts to the back of Sasha watching the card, watching the match, and it's pointless. Like, I honestly don't know what the writers at WWE are on, but it's clearly not Planet Earth. And it's clearly not in tune with the audience.
Weird, because technically they've got 3 things to build to now. Because they need to build to Sasha versus Bailey. And then they need to build to the 4 Horsewomen match. And then they've got to build to the 4 Horsewomen versus the 4 Horsewomen match. Because now that we've got the UFC Horsewomen in there as well. Who immediately came in and called them the faux Horsewomen or something, and said that they were the Horsewomen first. Which was like... You've not had a, 2 of you haven't had a match yet, so that's probably a bit rich.
Again, unless you know the inner workings of the WWE and all of the social media shite that they do and the backgrounds to all of these people, it's not something the casual average viewer of the WWE is going to know, and they're expecting their current fan base to know this instead of, like, as I've stated many times before. The 3 of us here are on different levels of viewing stuff. John is obviously the smartest of the lot. He watches a lot more of the product than any of us, I believe. Then there's Kevin, who watches a lot of outside of the product as well. And then there's me, who's just the casual average fan who doesn't really look into any of the outside news, but I know enough because I'm a smart cookie and I can work shit out. But unfortunately, there are people that don't watch the product as much as I do. Hell, I probably the casual viewer probably just watches Raw and not SmackDown, let alone NXT, or reads any of the dirt sheets to know anything that goes on. So all of this 4 Horsewomen stuff is going to go straight over everybody's head until they make the video package of it, and they're nowhere near that, as you've said, Kev.
They need to do something to really emphasize, because from what all they've done is go, oh, they're friends, and yes, we see them together quite often, but there's nothing really in terms of the wrestling history as to why they've not really gone into it's like, oh no, these 2 were big NXT and stuff, and why we should care about Sasha and Bailey, the 4 Horsewomen, and so on and so forth. They've not even really started making us care about Sasha and Bailey in that context. Okay, why is this a big thing? They just said it is a thing. Care about it. Why? They're 2 friends that don't get along. We see that every week in wrestling. Why are these 2 characters? Why are these 2 women? These 2 individuals, why is their relationship so important, and how has it got to this point where it's so strained? And Bailey doesn't trust Sasha. Why? Apart from Sasha being Sasha, apart from the character being the character, but why? It's as you said, Pete. I think they don't get enough mic time. We get one backstage skit, which is the same thing every time, and
one match every week, which is exactly
one
the
match
same.
which is, and then we get the same match the week after, but with the reverse either Sasha or Bailey, and we going nowhere.
Spinning its wheels. Otherwise, it was okay. It wasn't a brilliant match, especially on the pre-show. It was pretty crap. Like, it wasn't exciting to watch at all in the slightest.
No.
It was doing a job of making you, of reminding you that this is a thing. That's what it was. It's like It's like you're playing.
It's like this is your obligatory match.
Yeah.
Have at it.
It's
we
like
don't
you're
care.
playing GM mode, and
Yeah.
you're going. This slot is for rivalry free. Rivalry free. Next slot of the other promotion. Oh wait, this is the first joint pay-per-view ever. Apparently,
Yes.
ignoring
that.
the very previous one, and the previous one to that.
Yes. But yeah. Oh, watchable but not enjoyable. John?
Skippable is definitely a
I think
case.
that's a word I'm going to hear from you a lot this evening.
All of us have
Yeah.
skip.
I mean, you and I, Kev, have talked more about this than the most. I think we should just skip on to the first match because I know John's going to gush a lot about this one.
Oh yeah.
There's a queue.
Yeah, I know. So it's also the second longest match on this card by the look of it. Yeah. The first match of the actual main card, Seth Rollins versus The Miz. A barnstormer to open the card, and arguably the best match on the card.
I was gonna say, it's kind of choice words being that Seth Rollins was in that match. Barn burner.
Yes, burn that barn down.
Yeah.
So
But
Seth Rollins has definitely put himself in that position where the Miz is obviously moving on from the IC belt because different brands, etc., etc. They've got other stuff for the Miz, and Seth has really been a workhorse recently. Like, there's not been much to complain about his work, if at all. If anything, I'd really like to get away from the thing where he comes out and says, "Oh, you guys is the biggest burn it down I've ever heard you call." Yay. Shut the fuck up. No one cares.
He's come out. What I like is they've gone from the Miz, whose attitude was, IC title is important. I will make it important.
Yes.
And it's gone on to somebody who is, I will make the IC title important. Who's got the same determination and drive, which actually played into the storyline of this particular match because we had lots of back and forth about it. Miz yelling, that I made it relevant. I made the title relevant. And even Rollins at the end going, you fight like a champion, you are a champion and stuff, and really waving the belt around like it was a flag practically.
Yeah.
He was his standard bearer for it, for this championship. I said belt, didn't I? Oh, Vince will be upset with me. Oh no.
One thing I would like face mid-card champion holders to get away from is every time they hold the mid-card belt to stop doing the goddamn open challenge. Like, don't do the open challenge on a bloody house show. If you don't have a match set up on the card, do the open challenge on a card. You can do that as surprise returns, what they did with Alberto Del Rio away back when John Cena did the open challenge. It was a surprise to most people not on the inside. It was good to see. Do it as a pay-per-view card trick. Don't do it on a house show because all it's going to do is you're either going to set up a feud between yourself and whoever challenges you. You're either going to set up a feud with the people that are going to interrupt, or it's just gonna. You're not going to lose the belt on a house show like that.
And you can tweak that as well. You can tweak that as well in terms of using that. You can have the champion say, if you've not had a shot at this before, or something like that, and just so you can change up the picture or get somebody new in. And then you make the champion more like a fighting champion because he's offering it the opportunity specifically to people who have not had the shot before.
Yeah.
And then you can get other people into the title picture that way directly. But
Indeed.
yeah. So as you say, absolute barnstormer of a match between Miz and Clue.
I think we should let John talk about the match. He's sitting there. He's waiting very patiently.
He is, isn't he?
Go on,
He
John.
Oh, come on.
He is.
What can I say about it? It's like Seth Rollins just being the man, the actual man, not you, Roman. Stop saying that on Twitter because people are just gonna laugh at you. Just like, well,
he's liked by the man despite what he's saying in promos.
Yeah. But no, like this was obviously the best match of the night, without a shadow of a doubt. There is one match that came very close to it as well, but and that was ruined by a really terrible finish. But we will get to that later on. But no, the work rate was great. Miz was on top form, doing multiple kind of like counters and really good setups for the skull crushing finale on multiple occasions. The stuff they both pulled out. Seth Rollins with that amazing frog splash as well.
The hang time on that.
Yeah,
the height and the hang time.
He can jump. He can jump off of that top rope well.
All I'm going to say is,
I'm just waiting for the inevitable Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles.
All I'm going to say
match.
Is the next time Seth blows his knee out, it's going to leave his knee entirely and just bounce off the mat into the atmosphere and just fucking
like a basketball.
Yeah.
But you see, that's what I'm getting to. It's like I think Seth Rollins is making up for lost time essentially because of that knee injury that he had the other year.
Which is actually what the commentators pointed out as well, didn't they? They said that he's in that zone now.
Yeah,
he needs to this. It's all right being a workhorse. It's all right being working out for lost time. I want to remind people that Triple H did the same thing when he came back, or after he blew his quad out, he blew his other quad. Daniel Bryan tried to make up lost time after relinquishing the WWE Championship, got into the IC thing, and then lost everything for 3 years. It's good to be a showman. It's good to be a workhorse. Don't do it at the extent of your body that you're gonna not be able to work.
Well, I don't know. It's like I don't know if Seth is obviously trying to see what he kind of like can and can't do, but I'm sure he's sensible enough to know what, because you're not seeing him doing all this all the time. Like, I mean, yes, you do see him do the suplex into Falcon's Arrow a lot recently, but in terms of like, he's not doing a frog splash every night. He's not.
I'm surprised Vince has let him pull out the curb stomp back into the repertoire actually for the pay-per-views.
Well, yeah. They also did. They also have his Kingslayer knee as a setup move, signature. Now,
the Revolution knee.
Oh, is that Revolution?
The Revolution knee, apparently it's called.
Fair enough. But
I think he was called that at some point. They keep changing the names of his moves around.
Well, yeah. I mean, even the stomp, like you said, Kev, it was originally called the Blackout at one point.
It was the Blackout. It's been the curb stomp. It's the stomp. It's
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. What's the move this week? I don't know. What's his nickname this week? We don't know. Seth
anyway.
the Thesaurus Rollins.
Seth the Thesaurus. But no, I love this match. This match was definitely the one that kind of like just set the show alight. Too bad they'd obviously burned down the rest of the card, because this will not be topped at all. They definitely stole the show with this match alone, both Miz and Seth. So,
and from a barnstormer of a match to rolling in the ashes of Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. My God.
Oh God.
Before we get to that, okay. Sorry. A few things. Number one, whilst the match itself was great, I have an issue with Rollins, which is the sling blade.
Oh yeah, he's taking that from Finn. Yeah, I
it's
like that.
Rubbish. Rollins' version. It's really, really bad. It's like it's like running past somebody and slapping them in the chest. It's really shit. Okay.
The thing about Rollins is that he's taking cool moves that other people does and trying to add it to his repertoire. Like the knee was something on New Japan. I got told.
And it would be good for a story if somebody pointed that out. actually, because it's like he's been doing that. He's been obviously had the pedigree for ages. He is creator wrestler. He's
a car.
Okay, Graves said at one point during that, but pound for pound, Seth Rollins might be the strongest wrestler in WWE. Fuck off, is he? It's Cesaro. We know it's Cesaro. Everybody freaking knows it's Cesaro. Go do one, Graves. No one's gonna do that.
Yep.
What John pointed out, the sequence going into the skull crushing finale with the reversals, the selling of the knee, making Miz get an advantage, all that sequence was amazing. That felt really fresh. With Miz doing stuff, and the thing I liked the most about that entire match was the reversal of the figure four was not immediately broken for what feels like an eternity since like early 90s WCW. As soon as and when obviously Flair was still in prime, when you reverse the figure four for, like I say, what seems like forever, it's always been immediately broken by the person doing it. It's like, like 2 seconds. That was flicked over. Miz was in it for ages, and all of a sudden, Miz was treating it like this is a threat that I might actually even tap out to the reversal of my own move. And that was really great to see, and it really added to the drama of the match.
Also, Miz was doing a figure eight because he was actually
he did the bridge. That again, the facials on both of them were amazing in terms of neither of them really determined. Neither of them were going to give up. Neither were going to hold an inch. And yeah, I also thought the figure eight because he was bridging up out of it.
I want to say, because I'm going to make a comment on it. This is how you do a submission in the middle of a match.
It meant something. It meant something both ways. Either one could have tapped.
Yeah. We'll get to it later on because it's a staple of a certain individual's match right now.
Yeah.
Because fuck him. But yes.
And then, as you say,
dancing in the ashes of Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. My God, I'm sick to death of the. Don't be a bully, be a star, because we've got nothing better we can do with our storylines. Worst comes to worst, she's a bigger person on the female roster who generally have a smaller shape, a thinner shape. Let's make that the story, that she's a bigger girl. Yes, you've used that as she's the monster, she's the Braun Strowman of the female card who's going through and decimating everything, but you haven't given her the ability to let her shine because she's not got as much for winning personality. I like Nia Jax. I think she's a cool thing. I really do. But in terms of what you're trying to make her be on the opposite card, you're not giving her the opportunity to do the same things.
Well, it just goes to show you that I'm thankful that Viper is not in the WWE, because if she was in there, this would also befall onto her, and I don't want that to happen to her because apparently she's one of the best indie British talents on the market. For those who don't know as well, this is Piper Niven from the Women's Mae Young Classic, and she is a beast herself. But if this shit was flying,
there's a couple of bigger ladies on the NXT card as well, isn't there?
There's a couple as well, I think.
Also, while we're talking about the NXT card, where Sanity was announced to going up to the main card, where the fuck have they gone?
They are on SmackDown.
Yeah.
On SmackDown. Have I
missed them? 3 of them are on SmackDown.
Out of necessity, they've left Nikki in. Maybe because they wouldn't have anybody on the women's side. Nikki's going to be doing a Bayley. And would be brought up at a later date. Now, whether or not she's brought back to Sanity, I really hope so, because that would be something.
I don't think she'll work as a single without.
I think that would work well. But
anyway,
back to this whole storyline of the whole bullying kind of thing. It's like, it is forced, especially at the end where after this match. And granted, the match wasn't any better than their WrestleMania match earlier. It was essentially the same kind of like deal of, Alexa Bliss being thrown around by Nia Jax, and Nia Jax showing dominance, and Alexa trying to be clever by doing certain things. There was one spot where it was, now everyone was kind of like questioning why what was it? Alexa Bliss was able to throw Nia out of the ring. Nia was injured, and then she would also do a DDT on the steel steps to knock her down at ringside. And then the referee's still counting, and everyone on the internet is just questioning, hey, wait, he got to 9 or whatever, and it's like, why is he starting from 1 again? And it's like, it's because Alexa interrupted him.
That thing that happens in every match ever.
Yeah. So, but what it could have been better was just Alexa just, do the typical thing of like rolling out, rolling back in, and that would restart the count. But no, just shouting at the referee. It's like, stop counting. It's like, that apparently was enough.
That doesn't.
And that's obviously made the referee go, oh great, now I have to start again. What?
I've lost my place. You know what you've done. Honestly. It's bad.
That's ridiculous.
Get in this ring.
That was a ridiculous spot.
Will you please get in the ring?
Is a match that could have quite well have taken the same line as the AJ Styles and Shinsuke match, where Alexa is forcibly trying to do something, and they both get carried out, and then it leads to something like a no DQ where Alexa can get the upper hand because she's got the ability to use weapons or a full count anyway. And by the way,
I would have thought that a last woman standing match, that would be nice. First ever last woman standing match. Yeah. Yeah, they love their first off. Why not?
So we've had one, haven't we?
It was Charlotte versus Sasha, remember?
Yeah.
On Raw.
Was that last woman standing?
Yeah, because she got the submission out using the wrapping the Charlotte round the fucking ring post.
That's a submission, though.
Yeah, but it was still last. Well, it was false count anyway. I don't fucking care.
There was a first for something.
Yeah,
I saw someone joke the other day actually that this year should be the year that all the cruiserweights have their firsts. So it's like the first cruiserweight Money in the Bank, the first cruiserweight Royal Rumble, the first cruiserweight Hell in a Cell, the first cruiser. It's just like it's their turn this year to have all the first.
There is rumours that there is going to be a third Money in the Bank ladder match.
Confirmed, I think, but
was it?
I think it's been confirmed that there are 3, but it's not been confirmed which is which. Strangely, but it should be obvious that one's Raw, one's SmackDown, and one's the women's. But
no, the men, there's a women's, and then there's the possibility of a third being the tag or the cruiserweight. So far.
The tag has been mooted because the suggestion is that one of the New Day will end up in the men's, and then the other 2 new members of the New Day will end up in the tag. And this is going to be their way of getting one of the New Day to have a big push, which sounds like it's going to be Big E.
They've been arguing for it for over a year.
No one... it's all that stuff on the mic, I think, is actually one of the things that's really impressed. He's actually had the chance to talk. Anyway, away from that for a second. As you say, really forced this because it's a bullying storyline from a company who, frankly, do not have the best history in understanding what that is, and as a result, they're forcing it. And that I like the fact that they're making it seem with Alexa saying that, oh no, Nia's the bully, which is kind of bully behaviour. No, I'm the put upon one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're being really crap about putting that over. It doesn't really actually. Nia doesn't help this a lot because there was this bit in the match where Alexa had a brief bit on the ascendancy, and then Nia, threw her down again, and and got back on top. But there was a period where she was like, she threw it from one side of the ring to the other, threw it from one side of the ring to the other, and then back again. Those rubbish veals, by the way.
Yeah.
And there was a point where she sort of grabbed her and then just like flung her, and then sort of grabbed her by the hair and sort of pushed and kicked her into position. And it's like, okay, you're not convincing me you're the face at the minute, Nia, regardless of how, frustrated you are with the situation. That doesn't really come across as that. This is like prior to the, either it was the bonsai drop or the Vader bomb that was teased. It was a very strange match, and did very little to make me care about any of it, really. Despite what Michael Cole said, by the way, Alexa would not have become Raw Women's Champion for the 5th time. She's held the Women's Championship on both brands, Michael.
Yeah.
That's you don't say. She won't be
It's
that champion.
almost like the commentators have lost a fucking clue recently.
I don't know.
Like, Graves has gone massively downhill since Paul Heyman patted him on the back and went,
Yeah.
Corey Graves.
It's like Graves has started to believe his own hype a bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It feels a lot of what it is.
It's also bad. It's also bad for him that he can't determine whether he's a heel or a face on commentary because he just goes back and forth.
Yeah,
He flip flops around quite a lot. He's a tweener based on who's actually wrestling. And
I think he's trying to channel some some Bobby Heenan, actually. In terms of the I have my favourite, they're the face, and my favourite is usually the heel. It really depends. There was some good in this match. There was some good in this match. Unfortunately, I can narrow it down to just one sequence, which was Alexa was on top of Nia's back, ended up backed into the corner. Alexa snuck on a sleeper hold, and then was sort of like thrown over. Then Nia tried to get away and was sort of thrown over the top, but Alexa held on. And she sort of held on and sort of swung around, and it went from sleeper into a sort of a headlock or a rear chin lock. And it was just like this continuous holding on and controlling of the head for a very small period. It was actually very good. Nia, on the other hand, why is Nia's the only selling Nia can do is there's something in my eye?
yeah.
What is with that? Is she trying to be like Terry Funk? And it's like, because if she is, she needs to start going, my eye, my eye. Oh God, my eye. But it's just always. And I don't know why that's the only selling she does.
Would you rather her do what every other atypical big guy does, which is that, stumble around you, I missed you and ran into the turnbuckle? Ugh.
Or just go like, my knee.
Get these hands. Yeah, there was that. But it ended, she won.
And then
this story will continue.
I hope to God not.
Because this is what we deserve.
Let the match continue. Let the storyline continue. But as I said,
that's another on another channel.
Yeah. Put some stakes to it. Like, they've got all of these stipulations that they've had within the business, and they're using them as it feels like they're just saving the matches for the specific fucking Money in the Bank stuff, Hell in a Cell, the specific pay-per-views for it. Don't fucking make. You've got these stipulations. Make them worth something. Make the belts be fought for. Like. We've complained for the last year and a fucking half that there's too many multi-man matches going on. This is essentially, with the exception of one fucking match on this card, a match of full single matches, and it's fucking shit. Because nothing's being fought for, arguably. It's just happening. put stipulations on the matches. Fucking do your run up of it of fucking Alexa running in, every match she gets week on week out. She loses via something. Fine. Stick her in a no DQ. Stick her in a last woman standing match. Do something, and then Alexa can fucking get destroyed or do the destroying.
Yeah. How about? Okay, fantasy booking here. How about if we're continuing the bully story? Yeah. If we're continuing the bully story and we go along about, I mean, Alexa's, I think, hurt herself after this match or something because of the way she took the Samoan drop, unsurprisingly. But you could have it. You could have had it that she won the match on count out.
Yeah.
From Nia being down. So then you have her saying that she's not because she's better, but she's a better athlete. Because she's continuing believing because she's fitter, because she was in the ring, and you can have keep winning matches that way, but she can't get an actual pinfall, and then you can go from that and lead on to a falls count anywhere or something like that, or last woman standing, and then you've got somewhere where this is going. As what we had as a result of all this is we had the Raw Women's Championship match defended in a end of hour 1 Raw match. That's what we got.
Yeah. It's
and it was sloppy. It was really sloppy as well.
It honestly feels on a week-to-week basis the wrestlers have been bounded between different writers, and each writer takes it on a different week to deal with it. And they go, well, you've got this to do. Just continue this, and you're done. Talk about A, B, and C point, and just call it out.
Well, Vince is sorting his storyboards out over the next 2 months, so if you could just hold on until then.
Yeah, absolutely. John, any last thoughts on this match?
No. Boring.
Right. And from a boring match, as Mr. John puts it, to Mr. Boring himself, Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy.
Wow. Oh, confirmed. I like the fact that the commentary started off by saying for Orton, they said 2 wonderful things which completely encapsulates Orton. Number 1, it was the explanation of why Orton was facing Hardy, which was he has his contractually obligated rematch. He's had this for a while. Please don't. It was like please don't hate this, please. And then what was said was just during the match. Was I think Phillips said this, which was that Orton with his infamous methodical style.
Wasn't there also a fucking thing of saying they haven't fought each other for 10 years, but they still know each other in and out? And I'm like,
They know each other in and out, which is why the very next thing we'll say is about how Jeff Hardy was still recovering because with his jaw hurting so much because he hasn't taken an RKO in 10 years and he wasn't ready for it. It's like, one of these things is not like the other.
The RKO hurting you through time.
Well, first off, it's like this wasn't Randy Orton's contract, obligated contract rematch and whatnot. No, he actually had to fight for his rematch because he was in a a triple threat match on SmackDown after WrestleMania to get this title shot again, which was stupid.
Great continuity.
Yeah. But the match itself, it was again another very skippable match.
Remember
Randy Orton?
Remember when we were talking about The Miz versus Seth Rollins, and I said that's how you do a submission move? Randy, putting people in a fucking sleeper week after week is not how you do it.
And the crowd reacted accordingly.
I know you know that the crowd thinks you're boring. I know you know that you do it you piss other people off who are watching. How about you do something entertaining and entertain us? Fucking bastard.
He does entertain us. He entertains us in that small period where he goes...
You mean
for
where he
RKO, and
embraced,
everyone goes, "Woo! RKO!"
he embraced the meme, is what he did.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. In fact, one of the things he said, one of the things he tweeted after the Greatest Royal Rumble was the use of the Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere meme on Titus.
Yeah, didn't he say he'd been waiting for a
He'd
while?
been waiting for it. Yeah, it was great. I don't know.
There wasn't anything notable for this match for me to talk anything about it.
Sometimes it just feels that real life needs a fast forward button to get through shitty wrestling matches.
Okay, so yeah, to give you an idea, again, give you guys who are watching or listening to this an idea. So from the Miz match, the Miz and Seth Rollins, that, as you said at the beginning, I think, guys, was like the second longest or longest match on the card.
It's his second longest match.
Second longest match of the card. Okay, so there's that. That went like that. Because it was busy, there's stuff going on, we were invested in it, crowd was really hot. This felt like it went on and on and on and on and on, and it wasn't that long a match.
It was 10 seconds longer than the Bailey Ruby Riott match.
And yet it felt a lot longer. Yes, Orton's infamous methodical style.
I just want him to leave. I want him. I don't even want him to retire. I just want him to leave.
I think he does.
You want him to go all in?
What?
You want him to go all in?
All in?
Oh no, we don't want him to go all in.
I don't want him to go in all in on me. I don't want to go all in on you. All in on Kev. I don't want to go all in. I want him to take more of a backstage presence. I want him to take some time off.
Oh, so you want him to be a trainee at the Performance Center or something.
He is essentially, he could just use his contract and be someone on the card in a Triple H or an Undertaker style. He doesn't need to be there anymore. You should just let the old guys just take
Where
over.
does Orton live?
Not here.
I know. But, is it St. Louis or somewhere? Okay, you know what would be really good for Orton?
To leave.
Keep him on his guarantee.
Yeah.
You know, if he doesn't want to do this, fine. He wants to have some more time off the road, fine. Here's how you do that. He's at this age, where, he's the man in the sense that he's one of the real veterans in terms of the locker room. His whole story coming up was that of the Legend Killer. He is now a legend of the wrestling business. He needs to go to NXT. He needs to visit NXT, just be a thing that he's backstage, and start something with someone. And then have a little program in NXT where he can start having a thing with somebody, whether it's Velveteen Dream gets in his face, and start something up that then can roll into the main programming when that person comes up.
But fine, that's not going to happen.
No, I wanted to have something with Aleister Black.
That would be fantastic.
Orton just does his... And Aleister Black's just like...
But I'll tell you, how about that would be for a very cool visual. Aleister Black does his Rise from the Dead thing. Yeah. And as he gets to the top, he gets RKO'd.
Oh, God.
See, it'd be something that, if Randy goes to NXT as a visit, finds himself targeted by a rookie upstart. Yeah. Somebody with somebody with a long mouth, which is why
someone
I say
legend kills the legend. Of Randy
he needs to be targeted the same way now, and have somebody try and ruin his life.
That would be great with some of the talent that's there at NXT.
Yeah.
Like you said, Velveteen Dream, EC3.
EC3 would be a very good one.
Yeah. So, but I know that won't happen because Randy Orton's obviously too valuable of a commodity, and he knows it himself. To not demeanor himself down to the rookie leagues.
He's still got a guarantee on his contract, he's still going to get paid regardless. He's doing what's best for his career, somebody else's career. He's still getting paid for it. Like no one's losing in this
Yeah,
situation.
no, exactly. He's kept his guarantee. He's then got a specific schedule where he's going back and forth to wherever it is they're recording it. If it's a Full Sail or wherever it is that they're recording and at the AXTs at the moment. But he's got the lighter schedule he wants. He's got something interesting to do. He can he can turn heel if he wanted to and do the heel turn thing that he wants. You could do so much with that. Instead, we have him versus... We haven't even mentioned Jeff yet. Because Jeff didn't really do much either. I mean...
That's because we don't talk about Jeff Hardy in the 10 minutes we have to rant about Randy Orton.
No.
You know this,
okay.
We've done this month in, month out. We rant about Randy Orton and how fucking boring he is.
Okay. Quick things to end this then. One, I think that was the first time we've ever heard the move Hardiac Arrest actually called that on commentary. I had to look it up in case it was something they'd finally made up for it, and no.
Wasn't there the whisper in the wind that he did that they were like, what is that? And it was just a whisper in the wind off the scene.
It was just a whisper in the wind. Phillips. Tom Phillips. There is no limit to how vicious the Viper can be.
I mean,
says Tom Phillips. Half a second later, the referee, 8. Because he was in the middle of a count. There's no limit at all on how vicious he is, apart from the 2 seconds he's got to stop. And just the other thing, Jeff, the reverse mule kick is calling it a reverse mule kick because reverse mule kick is a bit strange because reverse mule kick would be them facing that way upwards, as opposed to him being facing away from them and kicking them backwards, which is just a mule kick.
No, a reverse mule kick would be the mule taking his hind legs and going forward.
The front legs.
That's a mule kick.
Yeah, so a mule kick is just back. A reverse mule kick would just be forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it holds straight. And the last thing from my notes, which just tells you how bored I was. He's got an arm around their head. My interest has gone stone dead. It's done for me. And in the capital letters, it's done for me. He's boring me out of my head, Randy Orton. Just go instead.
You know that meme that's just that guy that goes aliens. Now imagine it's just me, but the words are just Randy Orton. It's just, even if it's just
Orton.
like it's just like Randy Orton. It's just like a standard Orton match. This is what this is. It's
the crowd's whole reaction when he put the headlock on in the celebrator just kept going. Was just the crowd, the whole crowd just sort of deflated and went, "Oh, this shit."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, so Jeff won, guys. If you didn't see this, Jeff won. He won it with the thing I don't like, which is the twist of fate into the swanton, and he landed on Orton kind of flush. He sort of landed on him and he landed on him flat and hard, and that hurt.
He's been doing that recently.
Normally he's like slightly before them, so it's just the top of the thing, and that was was full on crisscross.
Back to back, back to front,
back to chest.
Back to chest, yeah. But so anyway, Jeff won. We move on to the second best moment of the entire pay-per-view.
Randy Orton leaving the arena.
No. We went on to... oh, by the way, I started feeling really worried during the entire pay-per-view because something's happened.
They didn't do a Rocket League advert.
Because they weren't the sponsors.
Wrestling doesn't feel right anymore, gentlemen.
That's right. They
ran out their sponsorship deal. They ran out of all the money from Rocket League, so they can't sponsor them anymore.
But what we had instead was a toy commercial with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And I swear to God, that Kevin Owens' delivery at the end of each soul separately was the second best thing on this entire pay-per-view. It was far too good a delivery for an American toy ad. Oh dear. And from there we went to...
I just like the idea that there's Kevin Owens just at a fucking toy sign and he just fucking buy one!
The entirety of the advert as well. The entirety of the advert was, wow, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. And both of them going, yeah, high five. Doing it somewhere else, yeah, high five with a kid. So someone else, yeah, Kevin and Sami high five again. And then it's like, hey, tag team brawlers, this up. And then each sold separately. And that was the entirety of the advert. We went on from there to your non-match portion of the evening and the opportunity for everybody out there, big, small, in between, for you to walk with Elias. And I'm going to imagine that because this had the New Day in it, John didn't like this.
I mean, I can tell that John didn't like this.
He's checked out.
If you're listening to this on the iTunes podcast, John is currently like he's gone to sleep on his chair.
It looks like he's watching Randy. It's the best of Randy Orton available now.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No,
It was. Oh, here we go. Go, John. Go.
After you.
Because this whole segment didn't need to be on this show. It didn't need to be on this show. And you know why? Why? Because the show went way beyond its 3-hour limit for a regular kind of like show. Unless they're purposely doing this for the next whatever shows and whatnot. And we're going to have, these longer dual branded shows. Shit like this doesn't need to be on it. Now, I can easily admit that there are people who like Elias. I'm just not one of them. I don't care for Elias. I used to, but then after seeing the same shtick over and over and over again, it gets kind of dull.
No. Hold up. You can't use that as an excuse because every face and or heel wrestler uses the same shtick week in, week out. I'm sorry, John. That's not a viable excuse.
But this specific stick, this specific shtick.
Are you telling me that you don't want to walk with Elias?
No, I want to run away from him.
Why? What is it about Elias that you don't like?
He's dull. He is dull as all. It's like the heel musician persona. Is it? I don't like Randy Orton either. It's just the musician heel persona is such a dated,
it's time immemorial.
Archaic persona. It was done with Honky Tonk Man, Jeff Jarrett. Who else was like a musical one?
The reason the gimmick exists is because what he's doing has got him over with the fans.
Well,
it's the same.
Great. He's over with the fans. He's not over with me though. I could easily just say that he's just not my kind of guy.
You're clearly not a fan.
This is clear. So anyway, I will give a brief rundown of what it was, because I can understand that it didn't belong on there. It didn't belong on there at all. That said, I found it fun.
It was very fun. I enjoyed it.
Elias, say what you like about Elias. The guy knows how to control a crowd at this point. He managed to get a yay boo chant from stepping 1 foot away from a stool. Okay? That's quite good. Especially in terms of crowd reaction compared to a lot of the rest of the crowd.
I'll give him that, but for the rest of it, I'm not invested with him. I just don't care about him.
The only thing that didn't need to be a part of this segment was Bobby Roode. Everything else worked from the part that it was musical in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. we had Elias out who wants to do his thing, and of course Elias's thing is actually getting interrupted by everybody else, which in turn makes him more popular with the crowd because people want people to interrupt Elias, but secretly they want him to play. So it's actually worked as a plan for WWE. That's actually one thing that's working quite well for them, strangely. New Day came out because they wanted to jam with Elias. They wanted to walk with Elias, they specifically said. We had Big E with a big bass drum, which was funny to see. Kofi with some cymbals, who had to be physically stopped at one point because he was just enjoying his damn self too much with the cymbals.
He was also overpowering every other microphone with bloody cymbals.
Yeah, Agent English coming out introducing Rusev, so at least Rusev got a paycheck. Rusev calling Elias bootleg Bob Dylan was great.
It was absolutely brilliant. Like Rusev, when he's let off the chain and allowed to be banterous like that, is grade A brilliant.
Right. It was what was love. I mean, we had No Way Jose come out with everybody.
No way, Jose.
I wish they could figure out something to do with No Way Jose apart from be Adam Rose 2.0.
I was gonna say I have no faith with WWE.
They are looking like they're going to do something where they're going to stick him with Titus worldwide.
Yeah, you could see it happening.
Well, seeing that they were tagging along in the conga line.
Yeah, it's not very odd conga line. Elias did also it's like an additional awesome thing I thought was he got onto JoJo to reintroduce him to sweep all of this crap away, please. Lights down, and then we got Bobby Roode coming in, which all led to Bobby Roode's Rusev being annoyed at everybody who'd in the conga line had come back out again. Bobby Roode twerked at him, much to his disgust, and that of Graves as well. Graves was so annoyed he pointed out the lack of continuity from Raw with Roode being okay. So, I don't know. It was a thing.
It was fun.
It happened. It allowed people to go to the stalls to buy merch.
I think a great big part of why that thing existed in the first place is part of the reason for the next match, which is Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. In what essentially led to Big Cass being squashed because apparently he has pissed people off backstage.
Yes. So this is one of the things when I've mentioned the graphics before previously on here, haven't I, guys? The way the Backlash logo was with the sweeping letter. You know exactly what I'm going to say.
The blue light, or the red light.
Specifically on the blue, that when it was introducing the actual wrestlers themselves, it didn't pop as much as the white text because design and how eyes work. So instead, it looked like we had Daniel Ryan versus Big Ass. Big ass. And if you look at it and then just look at it, you will think it's that.
Yeah.
Because it's so stylized that it just didn't. Yeah, it didn't work. And this was quick.
Yeah, it was the fastest match on the card at 7 minutes 45.
Tell us what happened, John, with this one.
Yeah, it was very short. I mean, obviously, Daniel Bryan was obviously in top form, as usual. You know, he was fast as all hell. Being able to do the typical kind of like spots, drop kicks in the corner, yes kicks, all that. Going into, and this is me going back to Corey Graves with his thing of going back and forth. It's like he's saying, "Oh, it's the signature it kicks and whatnot," and it's like. And then Tom Phillips bringing out his inner Monsoon going, "Will you stop?" And what was it? But then Big Cass, obviously, power man, just keep him down and whatnot. And then eventually Daniel Bryan getting him into the yes lock and boom. Done. I mean, granted, he was fighting out of it, and nice clobbers to the head to get him into the submission. But yeah, very fast. And Daniel Bryan, getting the win, which was good because that made the crowd happy at least. But then the beatdown afterwards for Big Cass to get his heat back, whatnot. Yeah, it was just very telegraphed, I suppose. But it was very, it's a waste of Daniel Bryan, because we would have liked something else or someone else to go up against him. Big Cass is not that someone else, because he is still that big guy that's got very limited, kind of like a limited arsenal, because all he is just the big guy, like he has been typecast before in the past, and yet here we are. He is that typecast again, where he's just doing big boots and throws and whatnot. Yeah. Nothing too impressive.
Yeah, I'd like to take back what I previously said about the Nia Jax one having really terrible veals, because the veals that the veal throws that Big Cass did were 100 times worse.
Yeah,
it just looked ridiculous and awful. And it's one of those things about. I mean, this is a feud of convenience for the writers, because we've got two guys coming back from injury. I'll just throw them together.
Yeah.
And the entire thing just boils down to that. And if you have a technical wrestler of Daniel Bryan's caliber, if you put a still pretty green wrestler in terms of their skill set, in Big Cass, in with that technical wrestler, one of two things will happen. A, the technical wrestler will make them look like $1 million. Or B, you'll be reminded just how green they are because they're having a kind of a naff match with a highly technical wrestler. And B happened.
Oh yeah, B surely did happen. And although granted, like Pete was saying earlier, in the lead up to this match, it was showcased in the promo, or the promo package. The week prior, Big Cass had a mini Daniel Bryan lookalike come to the ring and cut a promo and whatnot with him, and then beat him up. Apparently, Cass has big heat for beating up the little guy a little too much, and he was told not to do it. He was only supposed to do a big boot, and that was it. And I think because he went off script, he lost in that fashion, in that quick succession as well. So, yeah, Big Cass. Word of advice: don't fuck with the management, because they'll fuck you.
Not when you've gone to the writers, they've said no. You've gone to Vince, and Vince has said no. That means no.
Yeah.
The and ah,
like
another thing.
Like everybody, you hear that everybody always says go to Vince if you really want to get your answer and you want to see where it takes you. But if Vince turns around and says no, it's not right for what we want, it's not right for what we want to do, then that's what you got to do. You can't take things into your own hands.
You kind of respect him a little bit for having, the balls to believe in this is what my character should do enough that he actually went there. But if the big boss has told you no,
yeah,
that's a no. But yeah, it was quick. In getting the heat back afterwards didn't work either, really.
No.
It's all kind of
because it was just simply just big boot. That's it. Done.
And nobody really came out of it with anything. It's
nope.
Anyway, so yes, and then to give you an idea of how it didn't really work, even the you tapped chant.
You tapped out, yeah.
It wasn't you. It was you. It wasn't you tapped out because half the people were chanting you tapped out, and half of them were chanting Rusev Day.
I missed
it. Was you tapped Rusev Day. And how you do that, I don't know. But apparently, Big Cass managed to do it.
I would tap that. I would tap Rusev Day.
Was it this or the week before on SmackDown? One of the two. There was also, I think it was SmackDown, where there was "We want Enzo" chants.
No, this was on this during this match.
It was on that. We want Enzo chant. We want the guy accused of rape. That's not the best of the side.
No.
Yeah, no. We want the guy that completely, again, probably. It's not good for anyone.
Nope.
So that ended quickly, thankfully. Yep. At which point, do you want to see more WWE? I mean, after that match, probably no. But do you want to see more WWE and things like WWE?
I mean,
along with your favorite TV shows.
Absolutely, because it's all on Hulu, and none of you can probably get it.
Well, none of us can.
Unless you live in America, this means nothing to any of you.
I mean,
we also got Camp WWE. Remember, Camp WWE exists still. That's going to be a bit awkward.
I also remember it's a pile of garbage.
But that's going to be pretty awkward now since they've done all of that, and part of the thing is Cena and Nikki. So that's going to be slightly awkward.
Well, no, because they've been advertising the next series of the Bellas, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they've reshot stuff apparently.
I imagine they probably have done, but a large part of the actual selling angle is the wedding not happening.
The wedding. Mm-hmm. It was going to be a whole network special, which was ironically is apparently one of the things that really started getting Cena sort of putting him off again, because it was going to be a very small thing, and then suddenly it became a network special. With total Bellas and this whole massive thing which he didn't want. So yeah, that's going to be fun for everybody.
Yeah. At least
fun for the whole family.
At least Daniel Bryan was able to take it on the chin with all the media
but he did
stuff that he had to deal with and whatnot. He took it to the chin and whatnot, and he was able to come out of it fine. John Cena, he's a fucking pussy for being this, wow. Cold with so much cold feet on the matter. The man is an absolute ridiculous.
Why are you fucking married?
It sounds.
He got married once, and now he just can't.
Let's be fair here, John. There's only one man in this channel who's been fucking married right now.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And when we find out who he is, we'll ask. So, yeah, but it's going to be odd. But actually, I mean, we said about Total Bellas, and you said about Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's actually been talking recently about his pretty much filmed breakdown during Total Bellas and what was shown, and also living in John Cena's craziness. Which, if you get the chance, listen to the Daniel Bryan episode on Talk is Jericho, which was very interesting, and also goes on to talk about how Jericho would have been in the picture for WrestleMania had Shane not come back from diverticulitis and a hernia and an infection in his hand and a staph infection. What the fuck doctor did they get to sign Shane off for this?
Obviously, it was the same doctor that let CM Punk wrestle with a staph infection and everything else.
Allegedly. Sorry, Pete. There's kind of a lawsuit going on about that. Allegedly.
Yeah,
it's a joke. Constitution check. Anyway.
Let's move on to another championship match which didn't change hands into the form of Carmella versus Charlotte Flair.
No, it wasn't. It was Armella versus Harlot.
Sorry.
Alternatively, Vicky Guerrero 2.0 versus somehow a face, not quite sure how.
Yeah.
And it starts off with the best thing in the world. Whiff kick, non-strike one, everybody. Big boot to fresh air. What a great way to start this match. And it went downhill from there.
Do you want to know the amusing thing? We've already said that the match before this was the shortest match on the card. This wasn't the next shortest match. There's a match on the card to talk about that was shorter than this. And this match felt like it went on for fucking ever as well.
Yep, because one of the notable spots was the absolute ice age that was happening in the middle of the ring when Carmella had Charlotte in a headlock or whatever for a rest hold. It went on forever. It was basically only like 2 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. And with Carmella just shouting and it's like, Charlotte! Charlotte! It's like, ah!
Okay, she
She was doing it right. She was pissing me off.
She specifically yelled, I can do this all day! And I honestly didn't know if it was a promise or a threat, and I was scared of both. Because it just went on and on and on. It's not... judging by... These two just don't have chemistry, okay? It just doesn't work. And it doesn't surprise me at all to...
chemistry to begin with? Jeez.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that as a result of their next match that they've had since then, Carmella has managed to knock out some of Charlotte's teeth. So... she's had to have surgery. She's going back to the European tour.
She had to go back
soon. She's going back. But there's a whole...
she's still working hard. And she was also still working hurt in here because, she's been working hurt since Mania because she has a implant rupture.
Yep, she had that
in her chest, and it's like, geez, how the hell are you still doing this? You know,
as much as I rag on Charlotte, and like I say, this match was nothing. Again, this match didn't really do anything for either competitor. In all honesty. I go back to what people have been saying previously about, okay, well, this really... hooray! She's gone from beating Asuka to this... Wow, that legacy of that beating the Asuka streak's really, really done well. But so we started off with the whiff kick. I mean, that was John Cena Undertaker at Mania levels of whiff kick. Yep. There was a couple of bits good in there. There was like a pin combination using the legs into a bridge that Charlotte did, which was like sort of like spinning round and did like almost like a judo throw into the pinfall, using the bridge, which was actually very nice. Mm-hmm. Carmella's counter into what I think is called the Code of Silence, her submission, was also very nice.
But the rest of it.
Charlotte! Just screaming and screaming and screaming.
Rubbing her face into the mat. Charlotte. We know who she
is. Carmella screaming in terror remains a joy. Carmella screaming in terror as the chicken shit heel is an absolute joy. Carmella screaming endlessly from the top of the ramp through the match to the top of the ramp is not fun.
No. Like, her being up at 11 the entire time did not help. And it's not going to help if that is her character going forward. And granted, it's been at a 7 prior, but no, now it's just cranked all the way up, and it's now getting to the point where it's infuriatingly annoying as all hell, ear-bleedingly annoying.
Yeah, they need to figure out what they're doing with her.
Dial it down, Carmella.
as always with Charlotte, the best thing about her is her look going in. I think the ring gear is amazing. That continuing that peacock theme. I think that's great. She needs more than two faces because she's got the stoic look of sort of vague disapproval, and then she's got, and that's the two faces that Charlotte can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, this didn't help anybody. The finisher came out of a moonsault where she tweaked the knee, and then Carmella went in for a very quick pinfall. I'm not quite sure why the tweak of the knee would. She went for it after.
She kicked the back of the leg.
Yeah,
she kicked the back of the leg and then got the roll up, the deep cover pin.
The deep cover pin. I don't see why she just couldn't. That prevented her from kicking out. To be honest, it was a very weird, quick pinfall. And yes, this feud will also continue, despite sense. By the way, Asuka's on SmackDown now.
Is she?
Just reminding you that Asuka's on SmackDown.
While I wasn't sure anymore.
Got to do something. Just reminding the SmackDown writers that if you have Asuka, Asuka, remember that Carmella's terrified of Asuka, and that would be fantastic to watch because she wants no part of Asuka whatsoever. And that's going to be fun.
At the moment in terms of the women.
No, Natty's not there anymore, isn't she?
No, Natty's on Raw. She's on Raw being
she's on there.
Somebody. Hey, she's on Raw being somebody's best bud who all we've heard from is her fucking entrance music and not seen her wrestle a fucking match. What did I say since fucking WrestleMania was going to happen?
Natty's on there to be the best friend protected. She's fucking Natty Neidhart. She could destroy you.
I don't care about that. I care about the other fucking person. That's fucking all I hear is the entrance music and doesn't do a
who
damn
else
thing.
is it? Actually, this is a really good point. Who? Oh, the Iconics are on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yes, they are. The former Absolution members, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
They're on there now. So we've thrown all the junk stables together.
But
apart from,
we've still got two of the other face women,
Becky Lynch and
Naomi,
yes,
who we forgot about, but well,
and Asuka. So
who
the
writers have forgotten about.
4 face women on SmackDown.
Okay, that's good. They're sort of setting up the first half. The second half, that's the newer.
Yeah,
they're working on that at the minute.
They should just go let Charlotte rest and just give the fucking belt to Asuka. At least we'll see something happen then. But yeah, speaking of belts, let's talk about another one that didn't change hands. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura in a no contest. Oh look, I said a no disqualification match was going to be coming. Well, I'm shocked. What's going to happen next? Oh, it's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match. Because this is another storyline that will continue.
Or will that be a Balls Count Anywhere match? Yeah. Between Nakamura and a bruised Todger.
It's going to be really fucking stupid. It's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match. However, if a low blow is done, then the person will be disqualified.
And the titles will change hands.
Oh, are we going to get a Christian Orton one then, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, I just remembered the stipulation to fully loaded 2000. Oh, my God. Remember that one, guys? Yeah.
Vaguely.
And of course, it didn't go through either back then as well. If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, the main event for Fully Loaded 2000 was The Rock versus Chris Benoit in a match where if The Rock was disqualified in any way, shape, or form, the titles will change hands on that decision. And it almost happened, but then it didn't because Mick Foley was commissioner at the time and he reversed the decision, so it made it pointless. It was pointless.
The time that's properly come to pass was the Orton Christian
Yeah.
One where Christian won the world title thanks to spitting in Orton's face.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And then they had to go and do it properly.
Because the story didn't work out like they wanted.
Yeah.
Almost like the same first women's Money in the Bank match. How that didn't work
Oh,
out
the
properly.
fact that the video that we had between Carmella and Charlotte
Carmella,
was showing the Money in the Bank footage and stuff. It was like, look at her, she's on top of... Look, she's grabbed the briefcase. No, it's her celebrating on the ladder after she's been given it. And she's gone back up the ladder, and that's the footage you're showing us.
By a man.
By a man.
Yes.
A man with balls.
I actually
And
saw
a penis.
I actually saw.
Better-
I actually saw an indie card with that particular male wrestler as the top of the title card.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
he's getting a nice little indie run out.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
he is always gonna make money on the indie circuit.
Yeah, James Ellsworth is now he's a made man on the indies now. He can,
that man will make bank forever now. That he's just made. He's like everybody else that turns around and goes, former WWE superstar, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know. This was like the longest match. Like this was the one that was longer than Seth Rollins and The Miz by a good 35 seconds. Okay, so it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but it just felt it went on too long. Like,
Well, I didn't make it feel like that to me. The overall, match, I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed how both Nakamura and AJ Styles were being visceral. They're kind of like beatdowns, especially Nakamura, of course, because he's supposed to be like that. He's supposed to be the king of strong style. He's supposed to knee people in the face a lot, and he was doing that. Definitely between the WrestleMania, the Gurr match, and this match, this was obviously the better. So it's been the best so far. I just wish it would have been the best at the start. No matter. But in terms of everything was good up until the finish. It's like the finish is what obviously ruined it, because after AJ still not learning how to wear a cup, after knowing countless times that Nakamura is just going to go for his gonads as many times as possible.
this did end up being the nut punching war.
Well, it was basically a game of Rochambeau, essentially. And what was it? Nakamura went for it, and then AJ Styles was able to do the same to Nakamura.
Big
And
pop
then
on
eventually, a huge pop on that.
that.
Everyone
Huge
was
pop on
like,
that, 'cause
yes!
it was. Yeah, it practically got a standing ovation that a man was able to punch another man. Well, forearm another man in the balls.
Yeah. But eventually they would get, come up to a standing base and going at each other, with punches and whatnot. And then eventually they would both go for the same maneuver of kicking each other in the nuts. So kick him in the nuts! And they both fall down, and the referee counts to 10, and it was a double countdown, or count out, or whatever they want to call it, in a no disqualification match, and everyone was pissed. I wasn't happy with it, with that finish. But other than that, the match itself, where they had plenty of spots, that they were doing, the chair spot. Ooh, that was I'm surprised.
It was a good reversal. The fact that the way it flipped around was horrible.
Yeah, it was
like every different replay they showed of how that hit back. I couldn't tell which part of the chair. It just looked like it was a different part of the chair each time where it hit.
Well, eventually they slowed down the footage enough to show that it was the the top bit
the
of
top,
the
yeah, it
chair.
was the curvature of the
Yeah,
chair.
the right
Yeah.
side, the
Right,
curved
'cause
chair that hit
The
right
first
there.
time you see it, you think it's the bottom of one of the legs, don't you?
Yeah.
It's just swiped his chin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cheek.
you're right, because then it showed another one which it looked like he got caught in the face by the edge of the chair, and then that would make sense to you. And then every part of that chair seemed to have hit AJ Styles in the face about one
So
and a
it's
half
like-
inches away from his
So it was
eye.
more, but of course it was more of a scratch rather than kind of like a full-on
Oh
busted
no,
open.
that
It's like,
his cheek was swollen really quickly.
well, it was probably a combination of like a bit of the metal from the chair scratched his cheek, and of course the force of the chair hitting him as well.
Yeah, sort
obviously
of
made it
the
swell and
contraction of the flesh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because of that,
well-
it was an immediate of blood as
Yeah.
opposed to it bleeding. So
Yeah, but other than that, that was a really good reversal. Had it been a little more cleaner, if the laws of physics didn't get in the way and whatnot, because something that is projected to something of a moving object that is coming towards you will eventually just go.
I'm willing to bet if we asked AJ about it in a non-kayfabe sense, rather, I'm willing to bet that if we asked him and Nakamura, that he would have said that he was glad that happened, because it added so much more to what that storyline of that match was, with the two of them being all out against each other, continuously. The fact that it took them both out added more than it would have been if AJ had hit it and been okay and maybe stumbled back into the ropes or something. It was. I think the great thing about that match was the pace and the viciousness of it all from the very get-go. When the bit I really liked was at the beginning, with the referee was like really barely keeping them apart while they were doing the introductions, which was great. It was, I couldn't wait to tear into each other. Nakamura was sauntering over, getting on Styles' face. Styles was ready to go to war at any minute. And it was like the referee was practically looking over his shoulder, trying to get him to hurry up with the intros, because he just couldn't hold the two of them. But yeah, all the strikes were hard. We had the truncated phenomenal style forearm to the back of Nakamura's head.
Oh yeah,
that was like which was sort of like a receipt to the Kinshasa to the back of the head from the
second rope.
Yeah, that we had the other time. All hard hitting. Even when we got to the end with the double low blow, that was very good timing.
Yeah.
Because to do that between the two of you, you're going at speed and what have you, and to do it and to hit it clean without just hitting each other in the leg or something stupid like that, is actually really good timing. And it wasn't like it was a much of a stage kick either. They really freaking nailed each other. But it was, as you were saying, John, the crowd sort of just went, at that. The fact that it just ended in that way, double low blow and a double count out.
It's gonna lead to something ridiculous. It
will-
has to be. It has to lead to a Falls Count Anywhere match next.
It's either gonna be leading to that or a ladder match.
It won't be. It won't be a ladder match of Money in the Bank. Especially if it's going to lead to 3, there'll be Falls Count Anywhere match. Is going to be the next logical step.
Would you have thought, though, when it was first announced that we were getting this, that the natural progression of this storyline with these two wrestlers would be that projection of matches in terms of hard hitting and violence and the rules getting taken away, versus what you would call the technical side, the one-upmanship side, the moving on to, instead of having almost like a submission match and then maybe an Iron Man match or something like that, considering the two wrestlers. So that path versus the path we're on. Would you have picked that?
Yes.
If you were starting this from the beginning, you would have picked the hard style rules out the window one.
Yes, because after WrestleMania, someone would have had to have gone heel to have continued that storyline, and it's the only escalation it could have gone. Not to the point where it's just a straight up nut kicking fest, but yes, I mean, the escalation is the correct one, and I mean I specifically called that this was going to be a no DQ or Falls Count Anyway match on Backlash, and lo and behold, after we did the cast, it was on the SmackDown after it, and it got announced it was a no DQ. At which point I go, yeah.
John, which path?
Another victory.
John, which path would you have taken? Would you have taken this path?
I would have been fine with either, because either could have worked, because both competitors, both AJ Styles and Nakamura, could definitely work on those kind of like scales. Heck, you say an Iron Man match, I would love to see an Iron Man match between those two, and if it was, and to either whoever was heel and whoever was face in that predicament as well. If it was still Nakamura heel and AJ face, it could, all right. But the other way around could have been maybe better in that Iron Man match, kind of like situation. Who knows? We might actually still get that Iron Man match. Maybe.
What's interesting is that Pete said he'd take the hard hitting one and what have you, and you said
I don't think with how the personalities currently are, and especially after the last few matches, the interest will not be 60 minutes of nut kicking.
No. So John, so you'd take the current path. John would have taken either or, depending. I would have taken the technical one because you could have then moved on from the battle of respect into the there is no respect, and then take the other path.
Here's the thing.
It's interesting we got all three variants there.
You talk about the Iron Man match, and the thing in particular I want to mention is like the last great Iron Man match we had, other than on a pay-per-view rather than a house show, was I want to say was the Rock Triple H one from
Judgment Day
2001?
Judgment Day 2000 Judgment Day 2000
Like,
Return of the Undertaker.
Everybody was invested in.
Oh, that was just craziness.
There is
I will stop you right there.
There is not enough.
There was one there.
There is not enough invest. If you turn around and say the NXT match, I'm not counting.
No.
Brock Angle.
It was actually.
I said that's not a house show. That's not.
It was SmackDown. It was SmackDown.
Yes, it was SmackDown.
Well, actually, yeah, but no, not that Iron Man match. I'm talking about the 30-minute Ultimate Submission match by Angle and Benoit at Backlash 2001 or 2002. I can't remember.
John, we don't talk about Benoit.
He's already been mentioned once tonight. I mean, bloody hell. This entire 20 minutes has been redacted from editing.
My point is that there was a lot of investment in The Rock and Triple H at that point to want to watch them go 60 minutes. They've both been building up that status within the company. Shinsuke's not at that point within the company to your casual viewer to want to warrant a 60-man Iron Man match between. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm not saying it's not going to be entertaining. I'm saying you want to look at how, especially with co-branded pay-per-views now, if it was solo pay-per-views, you could possibly get away with it and it can fill a large gap of a hole. On a co-branded pay-per-view, it's not going to happen anymore.
Well, it's not going to happen now. Yeah, I'm not expecting it to happen now.
But you've also got to put.
I would have liked to see it, but I know fine that now we don't have that time.
Yeah, it's not just about time either. Your casual viewing base for the program is not going to want to watch a 60-minute match. It's just not going to happen anymore.
I think this would actually work well as a future discussion as to like pick a match type and what like our favourites. and go into why that was. So, what is the best what is the best Iron Man match of the last 20 years or something like that? I think that would be a very good discussion to have another
Might
time.
very well be. Yeah.
Someday.
Yeah, and we can do that
Shall
for
we-
other matches and stuff.
Shall we continue with the card?
It is indeed. So it went on, and there was double whatever, and then we had tag team of their big. The big boys. The big boys. A very orange-looking Braun Strowman.
The big boys versus the big mouths. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley and the man who doesn't need a tag team partner but has seemingly been with a tag team partner since WrestleMania. Braun Strowman. There was no point to this match other than maybe making fake cracks between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Again.
I don't know what the point of this match was there to do.
It was filler. Unnecessary filler. Just like the Elias segment earlier today. Or during that show. Because I love Kevin Owens. I love Sami Zayn. I love Braun Strowman. Don't like Bobby Lashley too much, really, because he's bland as all fuck.
Black Lesnar.
Now in WWE, if he was in TNA and then in Impact, yeah, he's over like Rover.
Say what you like about Impact Wrestling. They knew exactly how to book Bobby Lashley.
They did. I know.
No,
I saw how they
They
did.
made him a very interesting character and made him an utter badass.
Has Bobby Lashley in WWE since he's been back had even one vocal promo?
He's he's been a part of a video package or something, wasn't he?
No, but has he actually had on the shows any time on the mic?
Other than the sit-down interview with Renee Young, that was after Backlash. No.
Every time that he has appeared on camera and said something, it has been awkward.
Yeah. And I don't know what the hell's going on.
Why did they rehire him again?
Because he was free. He was out of contract and he wanted to come back. And they're thinking long term with not having Brock again, which is what the reason we had him last time was we've not got Brock anymore.
Yeah.
He's our Brock replacement. Well, guess what, Bobby? You're our Brock replacement in the event it all goes wrong again. But and you're there to do something, and I don't know what, and I don't think they do either, which is the big problem. They've hired him and they've put him straight in because he's previous WWE, so doesn't have to go through NXT or anything like that, and not like EC3 or any of the other guys.
He's gone straight to the top of the card and been put into a tag team match at the top of the card.
Yeah,
and I don't get it.
Yeah,
speaking of something else I don't get, why the fuck is this match and the next match after the heavyweight championship?
This is a very good question.
Like, even if the WWE championship was going to be a really bad match to end the card on, you still need to respect the belt.
Well, WWE respecting the belt. They have not respected the belt since the split.
Well, if you ever wanted confirmation that Roman Reigns is the John Cena of the company at the minute, we've got a Cena Punk situation, basically, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, the non-title.
Basically, CM Punk being put down the card, even though he is champion and has been doing it for the longest time. And I really, really hate that. And hell, we have two top champions. One of them is busting their balls right now with his work rate, and the other one's slacking off and making tons of money by doing literally jack all by doing at least 2 moves in his matches.
It entertains me that WWE is in a point of cost cutting and saving by ditching all the pyro and everything else and trying to make things a little bit easier, and they're still going to pay Brock Lesnar.
I know. It's ridiculous.
And so yeah, we move on. Was there anything to even say about this tag team match? Because
Nothing.
no,
Other than
nothing.
There's nothing.
Other than my disappointment that this is what Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was being put through for this night, and eventually they're trying. Yeah, it's a paycheck, yeah.
Yes,
but
glad they
I
are.
just feel, but I know Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is worth more than this. I've seen them do.
Kevin
more.
Owens will definitely be getting more of this because he's just been not long ago revealed that he signed a 5-year contract with WWE. That's a significant contract in terms of WWE and tenure. So that's good that management would sign him to such that. Good that he's happy of, okay, this is my
happy.
arc. He is happy. He said so.
Yeah.
He said so. He sees
good.
no reason why he
because
wouldn't want to end his career 25 plus years there.
Yeah, because I want him to not only be happy but also be respected enough to put him back into a higher kind of like position in the card.
Because he's signed that length of tenure, that means they'll be more likely to invest time in him.
They'll be thinking about him in the long term.
And thinking about him as much more of a long-term prospect in their
The
booking.
problem
review
is that we're not going to be able to see anything of that long term until at least post SummerSlam.
No.
That's if the belt's going to get dropped,
gonna...
it's not going to be till then.
Fair enough, yeah. But one thing came out of the tag team match which vaguely interested me, and I do mean vaguely, which is actually the post-match thing, which was that Bobby Lashley got the pin. I mean, there was a bit of confusion about who was legal man between Zayn and Owen, and even I don't really know.
The last legal man between Kevin Owens and Zayn was Zayn.
Okay, so that's something they've got. So that's something they've got to play on. But what was interesting was,
which, by the way, this is the second time they've done that. Whereas Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being, in a tag match, and the opposite person wasn't the legal man, and they got pinned on.
I will laugh.
That's the same thing they've done again. And it's really annoying.
I will laugh if the end result of Money in the Bank is both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the match, and they take the briefcase down together. Because that will be no end of hilarity, because we see them fighting over who will get.
Who's trying to? One of them tries to cash it in, and the other one's stopping, or them saying, "Where's the other player? Where's the other wrestler? He has to cash in." Oh no, he's agreed.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
I think it could work as a very good ending to a Money in the Bank match as well.
Yeah, if they grab it, yank it down, if they do a Cena and break the thing and come down together with it, that would be interesting.
I think it's too clever for WWE.
No, yes, it's far too clever for them. But what was interesting was that Bobby Lashley did his impressive strength, because it's Owens, and Owens is no lightweight.
But he couldn't hold it though, could he?
He couldn't hold him forever. But he got the pin, and what I thought was interesting was that after the show of strength, Braun, it looked and felt to me more like Braun wanted to prove that he was equally strong,
more dominant
by doing his move, and it was like a sort of I'm the alpha style sort of show, of a display, to give it a sort of an animalistic term. It was a display of power, a display of dominance, and just like a sort of like a showing that I am the big alpha around here, and there was a look. It was an odd look on Bobby Lashley's face at that point. And then Braun did it again. And if that's the first step towards the building off between those two having a feud, that's a good way to go, I think. If they actually do continue to have that as, hey, this is the guy, them saying that they're the stronger, no, I'm the stronger, without saying it, and then slowly building up the heat that way between them. If so, that's good. Didn't do Kevin and Sami any favours whatsoever. But then again,
Indeed. And with that, we move on to a match where I feel very sorry for Samoa Joe because he's fighting Roman Reigns for 18 minutes in a singles match for no fucking point at the top of the card.
Why did this happen? Why? It's just ridiculous. It had a really good start where Samoa Joe got the jump on Reigns, but after that bell rang, this was the shits.
It had no purpose to it. It was literally just trying to continue an old feud for no point because they're both on different brands now. Like, there's not even a number one contendership to fight Brock Lesnar down the line. Like, if they're gonna continue this in any way, shape, or form, it's only gonna happen on the co-branded pay-per-views, and Samoa Joe's gonna run out and annoy Roman Reigns at every match, and it's just gonna be garbage. It was. I literally got bored so many times.
Oh yeah,
looked away from this match because it's Roman Reigns and it's just boring.
Yeah,
and
I could totally agree.
And you knew the finish a mile away.
Yeah,
you know exactly what they're gonna do, and that there's gonna be a huge period of dominance by Joe, and then Roman's gonna pull out one move.
Yeah, it was even worse. Yeah, well, here it was even worse. Before we got to that spear out of nowhere, what happened to Roman? Roman was in the
in the clutch,
could be a clutch or whatever it's called, and he's passing out. He's out. He's completely out of it.
He's dead.
His eyes is rolling in the back of his head, and the referee's not calling for the bell. He's just literally waiting for.
Where was the hand thing?
And then, where's the hand thing? Basically, normally nowadays when the referees see that there's no reaction from the hand, they ring the bell and they start the match. Done. But no, this ref didn't do it. John Cone didn't want to fucking do that this time around.
He was he's under instructions from his son.
Yeah, if he doesn't call the match right, he's gonna get these hands.
He's gonna. Oh God!
No, it's
terrifying prospect.
It all rotates back around to what we said at the beginning of the night, where the card should have been completely flipped around. Even if you didn't want to put AJ versus Shinsuke on last, which they should have been anyway, because it's the main title belt match, the Intercontinental should not have opened the card. If you want to open the card, it should have been the tag team match. Because Sammy's
Braun would, it would be. People would have still popped and got. It'd be a good way to open the curtain. People would have popped. Braun would have got everyone going because Braun can. And then you'd have something really solid in the middle in terms of that to really re-energize the crowd.
I would have opened the card with Elias. That's what I would have done. That would have got everybody pumped and going and shouting and cheering.
Well, it wouldn't have been, yeah.
This it was and it's not just us. The general feeling is that the Backlash card was immensely underwhelming, and I think it is. I think a large part of that has been because we've had a year and a half of nothing but multi-person matches, and this is even WrestleMania was stacked to the brim with them, and we finally have a card which is all singles matches, and it's dull because there's nothing going on. With the exception of one match, which was really good at the beginning of the card. And that was it. And that was by the two of the biggest workhorses that they have. It's just mental. It's ridiculous.
Seth Rollins is, by the way, is now the Rob Van Dam of taking DDTs.
Yeah.
Every time The Miz does the DDT on Rollins, it just looks like he's just broken his neck in a million pieces.
Let's round this off. I think we've been going for nearly 2 hours at this point.
Speaking of time, just a short thing. This ended at near 3.5 hours. This show, which didn't need to happen. That's why I'm saying that's a live segment or that tag match Didn't need to be on the card. It's pointless.
A hell of a lot of that
Anyway.
card didn't need to be on the card.
No, of course not. Anyway,
I
Okay,
wonder
again-
if
Let's get to it.
in the scores.
This card was greatly affected by the fact the Greatest Royal Rumble was like 10 days before it.
Mm.
And this is what I'm saying, that Backlash like should have not been there. Like it should have been Greatest Royal Rumble into Money in the Bank, and that's how they should have played it. Speaking of that, we had information after the Greatest Royal Rumble, literally 30 minutes after we finished recording that, the Saudi Arabia is having their second event of out of their how many year deal this year, just after Survivor Series. So that's going to be
The
fucking...
greatest survivor!
Oh, mate, I guarantee it'll be another... Oh, Christ almighty.
Summer Slam!
Yeah, well, or
Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia Slam.
the Greatest
Cy-
Royal
Cyber
Rumble
Slam.
2.
Arabia Slam.
Rowdying,
Whatever.
rumbling. But yes.
Oh God. Anyway,
Let us go down in general fashion marks for the card. Mr. John Turbo Finley, give us your mark of 1 out of 10, please.
I really like that opening match. I did really like most of the Nakamura AJ Styles match, but the card didn't really help match. I'm hovering between two numbers. Well. Probably it's gotta be my lowest rating anyway, regardless. I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh, that's generous for you. I was expecting a little bit lower, maybe. Ooh, Mr. Kev.
I was either a 3 or 4, but 3.
Question!
Answer.
Is Backlash better than the Greatest Royal Rumble? Answer!
No.
No.
Don't put up your middle finger alone. Is that a 3 or a 2?
It is a 3.
I've got to count that thumb there. Read between the lines.
3. Yes. Read the middle finger, Pete. There's... No, it was a worse pay-per-view than the Greatest Royal Rumble. I, by definition, have to give it a worse mark. Or that said, I'm not going to give it as bad a mark as I could have done, because whilst the matches were they weren't, horrendous. They weren't, some of the ones we've had down the years. We had a really, really good first match that could have got 4 stars easy. There was elements of the show, the intensity of, hey, you might not agree with the way the direction's gone, but the intensity and how things were between the AJ and the Nakamura match, that goes towards it. Everything else on the card was pretty crap, yes, but on that basis alone, it has to be a 3. Pete, how many negative figures are we in for you? Is there a decimal point?
I'm going.
Can it be divided by 1? This is what.
Yes, it
There's
can.
a 33 for a third chance that it's gonna be better than ours.
Steiner maths going on for this. Go on.
I am going to break tradition and actually agree with both of you and give it a mark of 3.
That's how bad you were, Backlash. That's how bad you were. You made us
us
all
all
vote the
a
same.
It's a first.
It was pretty terrible. I think it could have been better served by mixing the card around in a different order. More than likely, I think that would have solved so many issues by having a better end and a different start. By leading with their better match and then ending with shit, it's just gone nowhere. So yeah, marks of 3 all around the board. Our socials will be on the screen. as always. Thank you very much for watching us on YouTube. Thank you very much for listening to us on the iTunes feed, if that's where you have got us. All the details for the other one will be below. Please remember to like us on both iTunes and YouTube. Please subscribe to us on both the feeds as well. That's YouTube, that's Last Minute Continue, or the Last Minute Kick Out cast on iTunes, and all of those glorious things. I hope you've enjoyed listening to us for 2 hours. I have been Pete Titans Creed Nethercoat, joined as always with John Turbo Finley and Kevin the Kevin Eva. We will see you. Of course, it's a thing. We will see you next time for Money in the Bank. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. And until the next cast, we will see you next time.